Laconic containment procedures. Create several or no false files alongside the true file or files and protect them all with a Berryman-Langford memetic kill agent that causes heart attacks in uninoculated viewers. Execute anyone who leaks information about SCP-001 to the general public, except as required under. Laconic description. SCP-001 is a special case and is not a single SCP, but rather a collection of SCP-001 proposals, which do not compete for 001, but offer alternate interpretations of what could be in 001. Depending on headcanon, they are variably alternate universe occurrences, decoys or fakes, or are one is established before whatever the current system is was developed in universe. In theory, one, some, all, or none of them could be the real SCP-001. Each is characteristic of its era and its author's perspective on what fiction means to them. There are currently more than 30 SCP-001 proposals. Below are summaries of each. Feel free to create or read individual summary pages for each proposal. A sheaf of papers detailing an SCP document. Each time it is opened, a new SCP object is found. The Foundation is unsure whether the papers create the object or led to its discovery. Laconic description. A pile of papers stapled together that details a new SCP every time it's read and how to contain it. The Foundation is unsure if it is creating the new SCPs or merely knows how to deal with them. Additional context. Jonathan Ball's proposal is one of the first SCP-001 proposals ever written. Published on July 27, 2008, it also provides a rough explanation for why more and more SCPs are appearing. Written in an extremely rough format signifying the document was written before the Foundation was organized. It is an alien humanoid that creates powerful radioactive forces and mini-singularities. It killed Dr. Keter, inspiring the Keter class designation in this honor. Laconic containment procedures. Keep it in a secure lead-lined room. If someone tries to let it out, shoot them. Laconic description. A dark, emaciated humanoid figure that creates mini black holes and dangerous radiation. Before containment, it killed many Foundation personnel, including Dr. Keter. Additional context. The rough, unrefined structure of the article signifies that it came before the SCP Foundation and its standard method of documentation arose. It also suggests that Keter class anomalies get their name from Dr. Keter, named in his honor. A colossal energy being, wielding a sword that annihilates anything that passes too close at the atomic level. Heavily implied to be the angel guarding the Garden of Eden from the biblical book of Genesis, and has references to other vaguely Abrahamic SCP objects. Contains a transmission from the future during which the being leaves the gate and the rapture begins. A voice calls out to Cain and Abel, Mita's sons. Laconic containment procedures. Keep an eye on it from Site 0 and don't interact with it beyond testing. If it starts moving, specific personnel are to execute the Patmos emergency orders, which are undescribed. The Foundation encourages religious personnel to entrust a copy of their data to an atheist subordinate in case the rapture happens. Laconic description. SCP-001 is an angel with a flaming sword hotter than the sun guarding the gate of the Garden of Eden from the biblical Old Testament, located where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers meet. If you approach it and refuse its orders to turn around, it instantly slashes and vaporizes you. At one point, SCP-001 told a man to prepare without context, eventually leading him to form the SCP Foundation. At one point, the Foundation receives a message from Site-0 saying that SCP-001 is moving and that the rapture is beginning, and mentions several SCPs, including Cain and Abel, due to their religious significance. This message is determined to have been sent from the future, implying that the rapture is coming and set to occur at an upcoming, undisclosed date. A small ellipsoid-shaped gem surrounded by a gold ring that is warm to the touch. It appears to emit some microwave radiation, and has an infinitely complex lock on one end. But the key that would normally fit into it is missing. No attempts to open the lock have been successful, and it is completely indestructible, heavily connected to Cain and Abel through a series of tales. Laconic containment procedures. Keep it and all info in a secure vault at Site 10. Laconic description. A small, indestructible piece of polished onyx with an infinitely intricate lock. The Foundation has tried everything to get the lock open, but to no avail, as implied from the image of background radiation emanating from it. It probably contains our universe. A now-dead scientist recovered it from the ruins of a temple of an unnamed god of death. His notes had pictures of a key, which is currently lost. Not a traditional SCP article, but one of many talks with Man-style 05's tale, wherein an 05 member talks to Dr. Man about something in the world, details the history and existence of the factory, one of the older GUIs, as the secret SCP-001. The factory itself was a massive factory built in the 1800s by a pagan and devil worshipper. The factory could create any product imaginable, but had a dark side, where many now documented SCPs come from. The story of the factory culminates with a massive battle between regular humans and fairies. Human-appearing anomalies created in the depths of the factory. The surviving humans form the Foundation. Additional documents suggest Dr. Atonement was enslaved here as well. Laconic description. The article is written as a story an 05 member tells to an overly curious researcher that tried digging too deep. SCP-001 is a powerful, sentient factory built in the 1800s by a cruel occultist named James Anderson. An elite team of soldiers who had dealt with anomalies before takes over the place and makes it the headquarters of what would eventually become the SCP Foundation, cataloging and utilizing the factory's creations. Later, in 1911, the Foundation goes to war with a race created by the factory called Fairies, or FAE, who slaughter the humans. The narrating 05 member makes a deal with the factory that restarts the war and allows humans to win. Now, occasional sacrifices are made to the factory to keep it satiated. A spiral-shaped gravel path that, when walked one way, goes uphill and downhill normally, but when walked the other, is continuously uphill. Attached as a tail, Document 00105 discusses how early members of what would become the Foundation used this as inspiration to create anomalous items, to just see what they can do. Eventually, things get out of hand, and anomalies they didn't create begin to appear, leading to the ever-increasing number of SCPs. Laconic containment procedures. Fence it off and have security guards guard it. Laconic description. A gravel path that, when traversed clockwise, functions regularly, but goes continuously uphill when traversed counterclockwise. The article links to the tail document 00105, in which an 05 member explains how early members of what would become the Foundation studied the path and learned how to create anomalies. Eventually, the situation gets out of hand, and SCPs they didn't make appear. Additional context. The situation of more SCPs inexplicably appearing offers an in-universe explanation of why the number of SCPs in the database is constantly increasing. A collection of objects including a metallic block of unknown material, a key made of that same material, and a diary belonging to an administrator. The diary follows broken and vague parts of this administrator's story and culminates in a document telling how he was from another universe and is attempting to halt or slow down a corruption that resulted from his people bending the rules of reality too much. The diary says he's found a solution and compiled it in a document which has yet to be found. Laconic containment procedures. Keep all parts of it in secure vaults at Site 0. Only 5 members may know where Site 0 is. Laconic description. A collection of objects from an administrator from another universe. His diary says he was searching for a method to stop the corruption that resulted from his highly advanced civilization bending the rules of reality too much. He says that he's discovered the solution and written it down in a document, but that document has yet to be found by the Foundation. A meta SCP-001, wherein the Foundation discovers that it is in a fictional world created by its authors. Laconic containment procedures. No one except the O5 Council is allowed to know anything about it. Laconic description. Initially described as, but eventually revealed to be the SCP Wiki's authors, discovered when the Foundation pieced together bits of info from across the SCP database. Additional context. The ending of the article is a proposal for a plan to expose the SCP Wiki authors in real life to memetic agents to calm them, put them to sleep, then kill them. It's possibly tied to SCP-5999, with the article itself potentially being that kill agent. A school building that manifests the Foundation and all the anomalies they contain, written from the perspective of the FBI Unusual Incidents Unit. Laconic containment procedures. Keep a fence around it, don't go inside. Laconic description. An old high school building with shifting rooms, disappearing items, and the appearance of strange, sometimes hostile humanoids within. Additional context. Scranton's proposal has the approximate format of an Unusual Incidents Unit document, a fictional branch of the US government tasked with investigating paranormal phenomena. A group of 36 individuals capable of lessening or neutralizing any SCPs they come near or into contact with. If one dies, a large number of severe supernatural phenomena suddenly occur, resulting in hundreds of deaths. It is implied that through fate and forces not clearly defined in the article, they are destined to restore the world. Laconic containment procedures. Keep them in secure cells at multiple sites. Don't let them know about each other. Don't let any of them die under any circumstances. Laconic description. 36 people who automatically weaken or neutralize any SCPs or anomalies they are near. If one dies, paranormal activity increases where they died and causes widespread destruction and death. Some members of the Foundation and the Horizon Initiative believe they must restore the world to an anomaly-free existence. A hub for multiple SCP-001 proposals written by Keter, with Twistage's help on the second. All occur in the same universe. Context. A page containing one banner for each quarter of this proposal. There are 4 SCP-001 proposals, all written by Keter for his universe. The proposals are as follows. Part 1. The Children. 9 brain-dead children that gained anomalous properties after 051 brutally experimented on them rendering them brain dead. They emit radiation and can destroy stuff if they're close together, and someone gives them a redacted key phrase. Acts as an origin of the Foundation's mission and philosophy, as they created them to use as a weapon against an arcane kingdom. Laconic containment procedures. Keep them buried beneath a church in Mexico and shoot anyone coming within 10 kilometers of the site. Laconic description. 9 kids who were experimented on by the Foundation and given the ability to delete targets at any range when near each other. They're still alive, but now brain dead. Additional context. The Foundation created it to fight the Kingdom of Abaddon, a group of hostile reality benders at war with them. 051. Erin Siegel, as revealed in Part 3, experimented on children with the Harkins Gateway and multiple injections anomaly after it killed every adult it empowered. The administrator, concerned about Siegel's health, tries to reassign him as Site-19 director after they kill Abaddon. When the administrator arrives to see the children used, Siegel kills him and the entirety of Abaddon with the anomaly before defecting with a group of other personnel. Part 2. The Broken God. The god of metal, intelligence, and machines Mikani is worshipped by the Church of the Broken God. The church unites parts of the god's body and it builds itself, rampaging across Mexico causing countless casualties. Eventually, it is shattered by SCP-00399. Still active, the Foundation must keep McCain's parts separated, lest they unite and attack again. Laconic containment procedures. Keep its components in separate containment cells and never let them reunite. Laconic description. An embodiment of the goddess Mikani created using a bootleg heart from the factory. It rampages around Mexico before the real Mikani manifests and summons SCP-2399 to destroy it, creating the Gulf of Mexico in the process. Additional context. McCain's object class derives from the Arabic word for broken. Part 3. Atonement. A researcher turned into a humanoid singularity after an accident. He looks into the multiverse and sees that anomalies will eventually become so widespread that nothing will be able to contain them. He offers to obliterate every universe except our own to solve this problem. The Foundation decides that although this would cause infinite, agonizing death for the rest of the multiverse, they must do it. SCP-001 betrays them, but is sealed away in the end. Laconic containment procedures. Only the O5 Council can read about it. Keep SCP-001 in a spacetime array and execute contingencies if it fails. If it still survives, then dissolve the SCP Foundation. Laconic description. Foundation Dr. Kelvin Desmet became a humanoid gravitational singularity with infinite control over gravity after an accident. He looks into the multiverse and sees the only way to prevent our Earth from overflowing with SCPs in the coming years is to use his power to destroy all other universes. He offers to do this for the O5 Council, who reluctantly agrees. He then reveals that his plan involves removing every trace of paranormal activity from our universe, including the Foundation. He kills 2 O5s but then gets contained, leaving Earth's future uncertain. Additional context. Desmet's observations of more and more SCPs appearing offers an in-universe explanation for why the number of articles on the wiki site is constantly increasing. Part 4. The Way It Ends. Not an SCP article, but a series of tales about a Chaos Insurgency member's journey to wipe out every member of the O5 Council. In the end, he is successful, leading to the formation of a new O5 Council and Chaos Insurgency. Laconic containment procedures. The Overseer Council, or O5 Council, has declared the containment of SCP-001 essential. Laconic description. To know the nature of SCP-001 is to know the nature of the Foundation, followed by a conversation between Adam and the Serpent, and a serial tale in which a Chaos Insurgency member assassinates every O5 Council member one by one. They succeed, leading to the formation of a new O5 Council and Chaos Insurgency. An SCP slot that, in universe, makes whatever is written within it true. A researcher edits it to make herself God. Laconic containment procedures. Only the O5 Council is allowed to make edits to SCP-001. If anyone sees Dr. Mary Nakayama, tell them the Council wants a chat. Laconic description. An SCP slot that rewrites reality to match its text. A researcher, Dr. Mary Nakayama, experiments a bit with the slot, making minimal edits to reality to test it before making herself into God. She leaves a note to the Foundation telling them it was her destiny and how she will do her best to tip the cosmic scales in favor of humanity. An entity called the Planet of Hands, which wishes ill of humanity and is the apparent source of all anomalous phenomena in the universe, and is altering certain SCPs to be more deadly than they were before. Created in conjunction with an associated tale series that fleshes the narrative out. A 4th will break where those entities are SCP Wiki article writers and editors, similar to Swan's proposal. Laconic containment procedures. The first page displays an email from an O5 member stating that due to dire circumstances, a series of documents are now available, primarily some stories that describe the Foundation's battle with Karlinin's proposal. Laconic description. The SCP Wiki authors wish ill upon fictional humanity. One of the files is SCP-001's document, which is noted to rewrite many SCPs to be more bizarre or deadly. A reality restructuring event that created the current reality, caused by an occult war in the previous reality. Only 13 random people that would later become the O5 Council retained their memories of the original reality, and are the only indicators that the event ever occurred. It is revealed at the end of the article that O513 did not keep his memories from before the event occurred and lied to be a tiebreaker vote. Laconic containment procedures. Uphold the Forbidden City Convention. Laconic description. A global restructuring of the world resulting from an occult war in the previous reality. Only 13 people kept their memories of the original universe, and they would later become the O5 Council. In a message to his successor, O513 reveals he doesn't remember the first timeline and lied, so he could act as a tiebreaker vote, so the Council would never be wholly divided on an issue. Originally written for the SCP-3000 contest. This is not an origin of the SCP Foundation, but an end of the world. The sun transforms and causes all living things to melt like wax but stay alive. An SCP-TEL hybrid. It's written from the perspective of a Foundation agent attempting to reach safety. The administrator's note from the About the Foundation page spawned the idea of flipping the dark bad light good dichotomy. Laconic containment procedures. SCP-001 can't be contained and has already destroyed life as we knew it. Try to survive long enough to escape to another solar system. Laconic description. The sun after it changed and caused any living thing hit by its light to melt like wax but not die. Melted organisms SCP-001-A are somewhat mobile and will try to drag non-melted organisms into direct sunlight, claiming the light is beautiful and such. Additional context. The article is an SCP-TEL hybrid that follows a survivor's terrifying and thrilling journey to find answers. In the end, they attract the attention of a large mass of SCP-001-A and are dragged into the sunlight. SN.D. Locke's proposal was originally an entry in the SCP-3000 contest, but was rewritten as an SCP-001 proposal after highly positive feedback. A spot designated as Facility T that prevents all human death within its area to a reasonable extent. Created after God went to kill Moses for not circumcising his son, and Moses' wife, Zipporah, circumcised him before God could kill Moses. The Foundation has since made a contract with God that limits the time they can use the sport in return for not being killed when they leave. Laconic containment procedures. Facility T has been constructed around SCP-001. Access is limited to O5 Council members and a few other select personnel. Laconic description. a space in which human death doesn't occur to a reasonable extent, described as God's blind spot. The place even gets referred to as a Faraday cage for sin. Additional context. SCP-001 gained its properties in ancient times when God went to kill Moses for not circumcising his son, but stopped when Zipporah performed an on-the-spot circumcision, thus deterring the wrath of God from that place. A non-anomalous document that is shared between the members of the O5 Council, which defines what is considered to be the basic laws of reality. Anything that happens outside of what the document defines is considered to be anomalous. Proposals have been made throughout the years, including one from July 1945, about a month before the events on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, about the laws of nuclear fission. A button at the bottom of the page promises access to the actual document. It leads to a letter written to the reader from an O5 member, stating perfectly why the SCP Foundation is cold, not cruel. Laconic containment procedures. Keep it in a server only O5 members can access. Any edits have to be approved by the consensus of the O5 Council. Laconic description. This document defines what is and isn't anomalous, according to the O5 Council. Edits have been made from time to time to dismiss or act upon certain events of interest. These edits don't change reality, only how the Council looks at it. Additional context. A link at the bottom of the article for access to the full SCP-001 document prompts a security question and asks for a password. Any input will work, and you are redirected to a page where there is a message from O55. They explain that the Foundation does what it does because the alternative is far worse, but they still have room for human decency and compassion. They scare because they care.